What's up, everyone? I'm Ace, like the card. So I came to a realization recently. If the 12-step program works, then where are all the recovered addicts and alcoholics? I mean, really, where are they? Because if something works the way they say it does, you should see evidence of completion, not just participation. And if people believe in it that deeply, it works, right? Shouldn't they be out there leading meetings and saying, hey, I'm done. I graduated. Y'all be safe. Let me show you how I did it. No, but instead, we've normalized staying labeled, staying identified, staying in recovery. So I had to ask myself something uncomfortable. Are we actually healing? Or are we just learning how to function inside an identity of being sick? Those are not the same thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to disrespect anyone's process. If you're in recovery fighting for your life, I respect that. But I'm here to tell you the truth. At some point, something has to shift. I call it spiritual. I call it psychological. You can call it a full system override. I don't give a fuck what you call it. But I call it a rebirth. Because I didn't just change my habits. I changed my identity. And that's where most people stop too early. They believe change of behavior, but then keep the same story about who they are. I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic, I'm always going to be this. And I get it. That mindset can keep you safe in the beginning. But at some point, you've got to ask yourself, am I surviving or am I actually living? Because let me tell you something with a little humor and a whole lot of truth. If I quit doing dope 2.5 years ago, why am I still introducing myself like I just OD'd last weekend as an addict? At some point, that's not honesty, that's branding. See, my life didn't get easier when I changed, it got clearer. And clarity will make you uncomfortable. Not because I came more peaceful, but I started losing people. Not that I became better than them, but because I became different. And growth disrupts comfort. And people do not like when their comfort gets disrupted. Boo-hoo. Especially in environments where people are unconsciously agreeing to stay the same together. Let's be real. We got a lot of what we call support is just mutual understanding of dysfunction. That's codependency to the T with a handshake and a slogan. I had to make a decision. Am I going to stay where I'm understood or go where I can actually grow? So I left, not physically. I still go to meetings because someone's got to show people a different way of thinking. But mentally, emotionally, and identity-wise, I stepped out of needing approval. I've never gotten a chip. I don't want a chip because I don't need the validation that a chip would give me. I stepped out needing to explain myself. Now, when people ask me, do I drink? Do I party? I don't give a testimony. I don't give a backstory. I don't give a fucking TED Talk. I say no. And then I move on because I'm not resisting anything. There's nothing left to resist. See, I didn't just remove substances. I removed the version of me that actually needs them. That's the difference. That's resolution. And what replaced it? One word, peace. Real peace. Not the kind that you fake for Instagram. The kind that shows up when nobody's watching. The kind that makes you choose solitude. Not because you're lonely, but because you finally enjoy your own mind. The kind that makes you realize you don't need to be understood by anyone to be aligned with yourself. From a clinical standpoint, I don't outsource my regulation anymore. From a philosophical standpoint, I accept full responsibility for my life. From a practical standpoint, I just make better decisions daily, consistently, without excuses. And let me be a little confrontational just for a second. Not everyone wants to hear this because some people need recovery to stay in their identity. They need meetings. They need the language. They need the constant reminder. And again, that's fine, but that's not me. I refuse to spend my entire life introducing myself as a problem that I have already solved. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't feel like growth. That feels like living in a chapter after the story already moved on. So let me say this clearly. I am not an addict. I am not an alcoholic. I am not in recovery. I was. I did the work. And I moved forward. That isn't denial. This is completion. And now, my focus is simple. To live. Not manage, not maintain, not survive. Live. To be more disciplined than yesterday, more aware than yesterday, more aligned than yesterday, because recovery might save your life, but at some point, you actually have to go live it. I'm Ace. Wake the fuck up.